TL is tech forward and always looking to push the envelope, innovating how we train, compete, and engage with fans. The fans obviously share that love for competition. This synergy between Team Liquid and the community lends to a critical connection, one that shapes who we are. And we've only just begun to scratch the surface of what's possible when it comes to community engagement and sharing moments around competition, both in person, which we're all looking forward to getting back to, and virtually. Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband is the key to unlocking the future of these experiences. With the power to enable teams and players to deliver the most immersive and personalized experiences ever, the technology is transforming the way fans play and consume content. Team Liquid has a 20-year history of changing the game through the power of community and innovation. And we could not be more excited about the next phase of gaming, brought to life with Verizon 5G. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ariel. This is really exciting stuff. Now, there is clearly new territory to tap into with fan engagement. I am convinced it is the future. And to help build that future, Verizon and Team Liquid are joining forces for a groundbreaking 5G innovation partnership. We'll generate fan-facing 5G experiences that will reshape engagement around esports tournaments, whether you're there in person or watching virtually at home in real time. Let's look first at in-person events. This year, as live events return, Verizon and Team Liquid will give fans new experiences at the industry's biggest events. We have over 60 stadiums and arenas around the country with Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband. In here, fans can look forward to 360-degree portal views into the gameplay for a fully immersive experience, and the ability for top streamers to play live from venues during these events. Something that has never been done before. Only with that powerful connection can you unlock second screen experiences that immerse fans in the competition and that allows top content creators to stream live from those venues. And for those watching remotely, VR innovations will allow fans to experience live events together virtually, giving them the best seats in the house. And 360-degree access that puts them in the middle of the action. I can't wait to see what comes from our Team Liquid 5G innovation partnership. Now, Verizon's expansive collection of gaming industry partners is capable of reaching over 120 million of those players, and that's in the US alone. We want to show every one of them how Verizon's networks will benefit both players and developers in totally new ways. A great example of this was our partnership with Epic to create the Super Bowl 5G stadium in Fortnite creative mode. This was the largest branded experience ever built in Fortnite's creative mode. And it gave players the opportunity to interact with their favorite NFL players and pro players in a way that's never been done before. The activation featured 4 football-inspired games and a few hidden surprises for players. It was a great demonstration of the power of 5G for gaming with the low lag and high speeds made only possible by Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband. But 5G doesn't just transform battle royale games like Fortnite. It also changes single-player and strategy games. I am thrilled now to invite a friend of mine to talk about how Verizon 5G is amping up the player experience. He is safety for the LA Chargers and a seriously engaged model NFL player, Derwin James. My man.
What's up, my man?
So great to have you.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for coming. You know, you all know this guy. You know, he plays for the LA Chargers.
Yes, sir.
And your home field is the new SoFi Stadium, which is amazing.
Yes, sir.
It was created with the most cutting-edge technology in existence. And I tell you, it is home to Verizon's largest 5G stadium built in the country, built with 5G at its core. So ultra-wideband coverage can be found throughout the entire stadium.
I can't wait to get the fans back out there into the stadium for many reasons. The venue is incredible. The tech is built around is going to totally reshape how we watch and play with the game.
It's very, very, very cool. And listen, we can talk about these tech enhancements for a long, long time, but you're here today because you're not only a competitor on the field,
Yes, sir.
but you're also a passionate gamer, right?
Yes, sir.
A huge Madden NFL fan.
I am. I started playing football when I was about 4 years old and Madden NFL when I was 7 years old. So you can say I've always been a competitor. I always wanted to be a professional football player. When I played Madden NFL as a kid, I created my player. I wanted to have super speed, super size, and of course handsome. So, to be able to be the player I am, it showed a lot of dedication.
That's so cool, and you achieved all of that. I don't know about the handsome one, but anyway, it's a great story. And I'm sure you've seen tons of changes in the game since you started playing, both on the field and also on the screen, right?
You could say that. The innovations around Madden NFL and the gaming overall are incredible. The tech advancements have enabled so much. When I started playing, there were maybe the color cords with the images were blurry, the networks were kind of slow, so you're constantly getting a lag. It's so different now. The visuals are more realistic. Networks have gotten better, and you can play with a group of people all over the world, so you don't even have to be in the same state or city. You can be playing with a friend in a whole nother country, which is amazing.
Oh my God, it's amazing, and you can't believe what 2 decades of innovation can do to the game. So as you think about the future, what do you want to see next?
Madden NFL is already delivering a lot, but I'd love to see more new modes and experience with deeper and authenticity and to what it's like to be on the field. I want to feel like I'm in this moment as a player. I want to feel like I'm out there. So more engagement with opportunities to connect with people and other people across the world. So being able to be mobile, because I'm constantly on the go as an athlete, so I want to be able to connect with my friends mobilely too.
Oh, that's really cool. And listen, I'm glad that you mentioned mobile because we believe at Verizon that mobile is the future.
Yes, sir.
We ended the year, and I'm going to hear this number, with 17,000 5G small cells all across the country.
Wow.
And we expect to have, by the end of the year, 30,000 so everybody can enjoy 5G. So I tell you, this kind of expansion means that the powerful connection you need for console quality gaming experience on mobile, like the one you want, will continue to grow very quickly. And here's one other thing. We are taking it also to the next level because we are combining this power of the Verizon network with the creativity of the developers of EA. Their team will work with our 5G labs to innovate using 5G to focus on creating the most dynamic player experience ever. Yes, so together, our goal will be to produce optimizations for EA Sports, including your favorite Madden NFL Mobile, using low latency to develop mobile experiences, the kind of the ones that Derwin, you, my man, and so many others are craving.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's literally changing the game. Seeing the networks and improvements created over the last 20 years, I can't wait to see what the next 20 years bring with the power enhancing of 5G power.
That is it, the power of 5G. So great to have you, man. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
My guy.
Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
So it's so exciting to talk about the new technology and how it is impacting the entire gaming ecosystem across the 3 big areas of developers, esports teams, and fans, all bringing fantastic innovation to the industry. But today, there is also a 4th area that is very timely for us to talk about, and that is the importance of supporting diversity in the gaming industry. As technology stretches the boundaries of what's possible, and as the industry grows, the players and the fans are more diverse than ever. And so a different sort of innovation is required. With this shift, and this is something that is very close to my heart, actions to increase diversity and inclusion within the gaming community are more important than ever, more urgent than ever, especially those supporting female representation. Diversity has become a major force driving the industry forward. And as the players and their fans who are consuming these products become more diverse, it makes a lot of sense that the people who make the products, so the developers, should also reflect that diversity. I am a firm believer that change starts with action. And we are taking action together with Riot Games. In March, we partnered with Riot to launch the Valorant VCT Game Changers Initiative. It is a fantastic program that elevates women and other diverse groups within the esports community. And most importantly, it inspires the next generation of players. So to talk more about the need for increased female representation, I am thrilled to introduce now the executive producer of Valorant, Anna Dunlon. Anna, welcome.
Diego, thank you for having me.
It's so great to have you here.
I've never been on the E3 stage before. This is really exciting.
Well, I'll tell you, that makes us two, because this is my first E3 too. But I'm very excited to have you here, especially because you are one of the most influential women in an industry that is predominantly male, from players to developers to heads of publishers. So I really was looking forward to this conversation and ask you, what are some of the biggest challenges you see for female players and also for those that are trying to build their careers in tech?
It's a great question. It's an important question. And I really like that you're asking it from both angles. So when it comes to competitive gaming, women still find themselves at a huge disadvantage. And it has absolutely nothing to do with skill. It's because they can't focus 100% on the game. Instead, they need to spend energy dealing with all the harassment they face. And having experienced it firsthand myself, it can be daunting, and it takes away from the focus of the actual competition. And how is that fair?
No, it's not fair. It's not fair at all.
It isn't. And it's something we spend a lot of time discussing on Valorant and at Riot. And, you know, it's not a terribly easy problem to solve, but the problems we're solving are rarely easy. What I will say is that we're absolutely committed to creating an inclusive environment for competition and creating safe opportunities for women to compete without fear of identity or gender-based harassment. So that's the gaming aspect.
That's so interesting and so real. So let me ask you then, when we talk about careers, what's the situation there?
Okay, so when it comes to careers in gaming, there's definitely work to be done there as well. I was fortunate enough to have a really impactful mentor early on. I had just started a job at a temp company, and while I played games, I had no idea what a career in gaming could even look like. And then at this gaming company, one of the women I was working with told me she thought I had what it took to become a game producer. I had no idea what a game producer was, but I went with it, and now 20 plus years later, here I am. And as you mentioned, there are not enough women in the industry, so it means a lot that she brought me with her. I try to pay that forward to all the women who are coming up after me, but we need more.
Wow, I tell you, your story is so inspiring, and it's the first time that I actually hear you saying it like that. So thank you, and it just reinforces how important mentorship is. So a little bit of a follow-up to the previous question, but how can both then technology and commitments to allyship play a role in the changes that we still need to see in the industry?
So I'll tell you, one of the most exciting parts of being a developer is that I get to be part of creating the future of Valorant. My team and I spend all of our time dreaming and exploring ways to make the player experience even better. And then we get to go and actually build it. It's a really interesting mix of creativity and engineering. All of the technology you've mentioned on stage today is impacting how we work and what we're able to create. So please keep those advancements coming. When it comes to specific changes that need to be made to protect women in competitive gaming, we absolutely need to keep investing and prioritizing innovations that help fight against harassment. And honestly, the gaming community needs to take a more active role in the community that it's creating. If game developers can be allies, and I truly believe we can and should, then so can your teammates in game. And again, We just need more women throughout the whole gaming ecosystem. We need an industry-wide commitment around diversity and inclusion, and we're finally starting to see that.
I like the way you say it, and I couldn't agree more. We need more women, we need more diversity in the industry, and that's why we're taking it to the next level. Today, we are announcing an expansion of our commitment to the Valorant Game Changers Initiative. We are launching together today a new training program dedicated to mentoring up-and-coming female esports casters. The program that is launching very soon this fall will team up them with professionals in the field to provide them with practical tools and knowledge to help advance their careers. It's pretty cool, huh?
Okay, so this is amazing. Game Changers is all about providing experience and exposure to women in gaming. We want to inspire the next generation of not only players, but any women who want to build careers in any aspect of the gaming industry. So this program fits so perfectly with our mission. It'll provide a pipeline of female talent that is so sorely lacking. I am so glad that Verizon is not only acknowledging the issue, but taking actions to push for change.
Well, I love what you say, but the reality is that no one can make real change alone. So we are equally thankful for your support and for Riot's support as well. Fantastic job.
Thank you. And
So Anna, thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for the great conversation.
thank you so much for having me, Diego. And honestly, thank you so much for caring about it as much as I do.
It's great to have you. Thank you.
Thanks.
So now I have a final big announcement, and I want to ask Nikki to help me with it. So come on out, Nikki.
Yes, Diego, this is big, and I am so proud to help announce it. You know, Verizon is deeply committed to building a more inclusive and diverse tech sector. Our work in this space has been going on for decades and frankly speaks for itself.
We are so proud of the work we've done, but we also know that more action needs to be taken to address the lack of female representation in gaming and more broadly in STEM. So today, Verizon is making a new $1 million commitment to increase female representation in gaming and STEM. For this, we are creating the Verizon Game Forward Scholarship. The scholarship is an expansion of the Future Fund, our initiative to support emerging female talent across entertainment and technology.
That's right. And you know, this fall, Verizon will partner with 5 historically Black colleges and universities to provide scholarships to 5 female students at each school who are active gamers and also pursuing degrees in fields that are tied to gaming development, such as computer science, graphic design, software engineering. And those 5 schools are Dillard, Delaware State, Morgan State, Texas Southern University, and Howard. We'll build tech centers on each of these campuses that will be open to the entire student body. And we'll also provide the scholarship recipients with access to the Verizon 5G Gaming Center for training, as well as mentorship.
And I tell you, here's the best part. We are guaranteeing the students internship opportunities at Verizon and with our gaming industry partners. It is these kinds of deep commitments that will help build the diverse talent pipeline the tech industry needs. We are really so proud of this and for the opportunities it will give these women.
Absolutely. And you know, I just cannot wait to see what these students do.
Nikki, thank you.
Thank you.
So I hope the last 30 minutes have clarified why Verizon is here for 2 big reasons. Number 1, technology. Verizon has a vision for how 5G and related technologies will bring an entirely new level of creation and experience of gaming for the developers, for esports teams, and for the fans. And secondly, we see this next gaming generation wanting and needing inclusivity, an industry that is more diverse and more welcoming of new faces, new voices, and new perspectives. We are here to help make astonishing things happen in gaming and esports. But we're also here to listen and to learn. Gaming is a sector of bold thinkers, free spirits, and wide open creativity. Verizon wants to support that and empower it even further. So we look forward to working with you and playing with you for a long time to come. Thank you.
Welcome back to the E3 2021 Caster Desk. It's me, it's Jackie, and Jackie, two very interesting announcements there at the end for Verizon, right? Number one, Verizon and Riot teaming up for the Game Changers Mentorship Program, huge. And then, of course, this Verizon Game Forward Scholarship. 5 historically black colleges, 5 gamers at each one getting not only a scholarship for school, getting guaranteed internships at Verizon or game partners. It's a $1 million program. It's about building the tech sector and obviously getting women and minorities involved in this. How important is this, Jackie?
Honestly, they kept on echoing that we need action.
Yeah.
To create change, like we need to start doing things like this. And you think that we've made so much progress, but I can't even tell you how many times people come up to me and they're like, "You play video games?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't think that you would be into that." And I'm just like, man, it's crazy. Gamers come from all walks of life, and you know, we heard Anna Donlan talking about this a little bit, but sometimes when you're a woman, it can be very discouraging. A Twitch chat can be extremely harsh. Social media, like it can be extremely painful. But seeing something like this that is uplifting and encouraging, I'm so excited for it. And you know, they kept on talking about the next generation. So many young women out there are watching this, and I'm sure that they're like, wow, like there's scholarship money out there for this. Someone's like, you can do this, and it really warmed my heart. So
100%.
happy to see it. Really happy to see it.
And yeah, one of the things in there before I toss for you, of course, is that Anna was talking in the Riot segment, right? That the gaming community needs to be better about building the community it's in.
Yes.
And I can't agree with that enough. If you know anything about Greg Miller and Kind of Funny, being better is a big part of what we always talk about. Is be better to each other and don't be a jerk. And I know right now on our very own Twitch page right here, a bunch of people are being jerks. And everybody who's a good person, which is the majority of gamers, need to step up, ladies and gentlemen, and of course show that the positive outshines the negative. That's my rant. Goodbye on that one.
Thank you so much for that.
Verizon and Riot, what a team up for the future. Let's talk about esports though, right? And speaking of esports, I want to hear from more of the voices on the scene about how esports has evolved over the years and where it's headed.
For the longest time, I didn't even tell my friends and classmates in school that I was a professional gamer.
Back when Blockbuster was still open and we had MLG events.
People that organized tournaments, and people used to drive around vans with computers and off their own money just to set up these LANs so people could play, so there could be an experience of, you know, people gaming against each other.
And I would go to my local Blockbuster and compete in getting the high score in different Nintendo games. And I would always win.
I always compare it to like a fight club, you know, underground, like super secret. And over time, you know, it's blown up.
The industry and the people in the industry who were once, you know, made fun of for being nerds and playing video games and, you know, the stereotypical living in their mom's basement, are now the cool kids on the block.
And I think now that we, as people that are involved in gaming and esports, can actually dedicate our time properly to this, that shows me just how far we've come.
Once I started to play competitively for League of Legends and realized there was an opportunity to also bring kind of my heart and my energy for the game and make it lucrative, I had to follow my heart.
I'm just very excited to see more and more people being able to turn their hobby, turn their passion into their jobs and making a living out of it.
And now you can legitimately be a kid and tell your parents like, hey, I want to be a professional esport player.
Day to day, I wake up every day and I'm just really happy to get to play games for a living.
There's Fortnite players that are 13-year-olds that I know who have the work ethic and drive and put in the time and effort like a job, more so than even my friends who have full-time jobs.
In the beginning, it was like,
nerds play video games and jocks play sports, but now you have like NBA players and NFL players that are streaming and making videos.
People are now coming out about it. Like, come out your gamer closet. You know, it's not, you're not a geek no more. You're not a dork. And if you are, that's cool now.
When I was a young girl, you know, I was playing 2K a lot, and I never thought I would see myself in the game, and boom, there I am. I'm able to drop 40, 60 with myself and actually look like myself.
It's really started to mesh together, and it's created like my perfect little child. This sports mixed with video games is like pretty much been me my whole life, but now the world can see this.
I think that's what makes esports so compelling, is that there is an opportunity for anybody, no matter where you're from.
Anyone can be a gamer. You know, you're not capped by your physical attributes.
It's pretty easy for people in esports to gravitate towards underdog stories. I think people love those, and there's a reason, because I think many of us in esports have felt like underdogs ourselves.
Growing up in a children's home without a support system, family, financial means, I just never thought that following my dreams was on the table for me. Like, that just did not seem reasonable. Now here I am. I turned my passion into my job. I love my job every single day. I met my husband at a gaming event, and I made lifelong friends. And I found my place, and I found a family along the way, and I couldn't be more grateful.
I can't imagine with how far it's come to see the next couple phases, but I don't think the hype behind it is going to slow down anytime soon.
I mean, I just see it going up. Content creators booming, just becoming so much bigger than before. New games releasing, more esports, more involvement and acceptance. Like, I think it's going great, and I don't think it'll stop growing anytime soon.
As a part of Play For All, GameSpot will be bringing you the latest gaming news and announcements, interviews with developers, the biggest press conferences, and lots more. Play For All is our yearly online event that combines the excitement and announcements of E3 with charity live streams the following week, with lots of special guests who are going to help us raise money for able gamers. So join us in June for E3 and Play For All on GameSpot.com, YouTube.com/GameSpot, Twitch.tv/GameSpot, and as a part of E3's official broadcast. See you then.
篝火营地是中国领先的游戏媒体，创立于2018年，致力于为全世界的中文游戏玩家提供专业、精准、迅速的资讯情报。篝火营地立足于中国，与多家国际一流游戏媒体同行达成正式内容合作关系，源源不断地将最新鲜的游戏资讯第一时间带给全球中文游戏玩家。自成立以来，篝火营地在全网的内容浏览量已经超过5亿，服务了数百万的读者和玩家。我们的愿景是做游戏文化传播者。您可以在全球各大手机应用市场下载篝火营地 APP， 或者访问3w.gamebonfire.com 来加入游戏传播者的行列。
As the console wars continue to rage and next-gen consoles remain scarce to find, a blast from the past has come along with a new focus to bring gaming to your sofa. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Intellivision.
Hi, I'm Tommy Tellerico, and what an honor it is for Intellivision to be a part of this year's E3. I want to personally thank the ESA for having us be involved. And we have seen some incredible stuff. What a great time to be a gamer. I've been in the video game industry for over 32 years and have been a part of the creative teams that have made some of the great we've designed our entire system and games around. That friendship, that multiplayer, that couch co-op experience. See, when I was growing up, we didn't have the internet to play video games, so if you wanted to play with somebody else, you went over their house or they came over to your house. It was everybody in a room. In fact, I bet if you're a hardcore gamer, you're probably like me, and I bet your fondest memories of playing games were when you were playing with other people in the same room together. That's what we're all about. Now look, I'm gonna be honest, for a lot of you out there watching this, I'm not gonna impress you with our teraflops and gigawatts and screaming processor and incredible lifelike graphics. That's not what we're about. What we are is a really simple, fun party machine that you can bring out when maybe some of your non-gaming friends come over. Maybe you have a husband or a wife who isn't into gaming as much as you are. Maybe grandma comes over and you want to play a simple motion control game or a card game or a board game, dice, whatever it is. See, all of our games are built around fun and simplicity. That's the most important thing for us, and gathering people in a room together to do it. Here at Intellivision, we've assembled an incredible, passionate team of game makers who have over 600 years experience making some of your favorite games. Everything we do, we focus on bringing people together and having simple fun. In fact, we've designed our hardware entirely around those two things. So for example, our controller is really unique. It has a color capacitive touchscreen on it. It really comes in handy when you're playing others that might not be as good as you in gaming. So it's a great way to give them little hints. For example, here in Shark, whoever's in last place, it will vibrate because we have haptic as well. And then it shows the color of the clam that's going to release the next big bonus pearl. So only that player will get that information. And also, having a screen on every single controller gives you a lot of really cool and unique abilities to do game designs. For example, everybody has their cards and they can hide it in a game like Spades. And here you'll see it on Farkle, another one of our 6-pack-in games that you get free on every console. You can shake it and you'll feel the vibration. We have haptic feedback. And watch, you pour it out, boom, and the dice pour right out onto the screen. Motion controls are also really important, especially for casual gamers. So a lot of our sports and recreation, for example, will use that kind of motion control. You'll see here with Cornhole, you're throwing the bag into the hole. By the way, this is another game that comes free on every console. Now our main disc is really unique as well. Most directional pads have 8 positions, up, down, left, rights, and the diagonals. It has 64 directions and touch sensitivity as well, so the harder I press down, it'll affect gameplay. Here's a feature I think a lot of gamers are gonna love. I can take my controller, I can go over your house, dock it in your system, and because it recognizes that it's my controller, we can now play all of my games that I own on your system at your house. As long as my controller is there, my games are there as well. Another cool feature that we incorporated is wireless contact charging. So once you're done with your controller and your game's over, you just dock it right back into the base and it charges for you. Another unique feature of Amico is that we have interactive LED lighting all throughout the console itself, the base, and all of the controllers. We also have RFID built throughout the entire console, which means you can get a gift card, for example, tap it on the system, and it shows up immediately. You know what's really cool about having the focus be people playing together? I'll give you an example. Astro Smash is a 4-player game. At any point during the game, somebody can pick up a controller and just hit the ship they want and go right into the game at any point. Now, for all you collectors out there, you'll be happy to know that not only can you download games digitally, but we also have physical media as well, and we'll be releasing more information about that later this year. Now, here's something I think a lot of gamers are going to appreciate. We don't allow any loot boxes, in-game purchases, in-app advertising, or paid downloadable content. But what we do have is an online leaderboard system for most of our games where you can go in there and check your scores against your state, your country, the world, or the month, the year, and of all time. And those scores tie into our achievements as well. So if you have the high score at the end of the month of your country, we're gonna email your certificate that you can go print out and hang on your wall. Now, as we all know, the most important part of any video game system are the games themselves. They all have to be super fun to play. And that's where we really shine. In fact, all of our games on our system are highly curated. All of them contain a single and multiplayer or couch co-op mode. And all the games on our system are exclusive or contain exclusive content. Like Retro Reimagine, where we take some of the greatest classic video games of all time, give them new graphics, new audio, add multiplayer and couch co-op. Some of the things we have, for example, 12 of the best games from Atari like Breakout, Asteroids, Tempest, Missile Command. We have games like Burger Time and Bump and Jump, and even some of the best Intellivision games from the past like Cloudy Mountain and Night Stalker. We have edutainment titles for kids 7 and under, things like Sesame Street and Care Bears. Now, our original IP category contains brand new games that we've created, a lot of times around our unique controller. Some of those games are platformers like Finnegan Fox, Bomb Squad, Space Strikers, Flying Tigers, and we even got the original Echo the Dolphin team to create our new title called Dolphin Quest. We even take more modern games and add exclusive co-op modes, games like Rigid Force Redux Enhanced and Dino Blaster. Now, our sports and recreational category not only has big sports like Major League Baseball and soccer, but also recreational sports like cornhole, skiing, pool, and many more. Now, our casual category contains many party games, dice games, board games, card games, things like spades, emoji charades, and even award-winning board games like Blank Slate, Telestrations, and Ink and Gold. Now, I've already mentioned some really big partnerships and licenses like Major League Baseball and Sesame Street, but we have even more, including things like Mattel Hot Wheels, Harlem Globetrotters, and so much more. Now, we've previously announced that we're doing a brand new exclusive Earthworm Jim game for Intellivision, and we got the original team to be working on it. We wanted to do something special, so we're gonna give away 3 of these new prints. All of the team members signed it. All you have to do is email cow@intellivision.com with the subject line, Groovy. You have till the end of June to do that, and then we'll announce 3 winners at the end of the month. Well, thank you for spending a little time with us here today. Hopefully, as you can see, our approach is a little different than everything else that's out there, and we really don't view others as competition. What we're doing, we view as complementary to what the video game industry is doing. It's such an exciting time to be in the industry, to be a fan of the industry, and we are fans of the video game industry. And you know, if there's something that you've seen here today that might be of interest, or maybe you're a developer who wants to make some games for us, maybe you want to place a pre-order, please go to Intellivision.com. We want to hear from you.
Thank you, Tommy, for that look at Intellivision. Guys, what I appreciate the most is that he started the presentation with, this isn't like what you've seen before at E3, right? We're doing something different. We're going in a different direction. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, so, you know, I've been saying this a lot. I've always been a fan of the offbeat, the different. I always seek that experience out no matter what game I play. And I would say that this definitely, like, check those boxes for me. You know, I owned an old Intellivision, a ColecoVision. You know, like I had those as a kid. My uncle would bring them in and we'll play games together. It was always a fun time. It was a Smurfs game that I could never finish. It was like the bane of my existence.
This is your second chance.
Yeah,
you're gonna
get
get
another opportunity of doing it. But I do like the idea behind it, and I also like too, like, there's an opportunity here even for independent developers to like get involved and make something super unique on a platform that is unconventional in comparison to what you see out there, you know, in the modern gaming era.
Yeah, Jackie, how's it resonate with you?
So all I heard was Earthworm Jim, and I was just
You're like,
Earthworm Jim. I haven't heard that in forever. Oh my gosh, my brother and I used to mess with that all the time on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Absolutely adored it. So I personally think that it's opening up a lot of accessibility. Like, if you purchase this is something that if your friends don't game, you could be like, hey, this is really simple.
Very true.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it looks like a phone, but it's kind of like a 2001 iPod. But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
with the
pretty
dial.
simple,
Yeah, with the dial.
right?
Yeah.
And I just think it'd be very easy for someone to pick up, and the games are also very accessible as well. So I think that this is something I could play with my parents. All I can think of is Mario Kart. My dad tried to play Wario, and you know, that was a slower character, and he was it was a struggle. It was a struggle.
Yeah, I understand.
Maybe
I know.
he could do better with the Amico. So for me, what stood out was definitely Earthworm Jim, and then definitely accessibility.
Yeah, that's their whole thing with it, right? And again, I like the idea that they're presenting something different at the end there. Tommy talking about the fact that we don't look at other people as competition because they're clearly in a different market, right? It reminds me how I talk about Nintendo all the time marching to their own beat, right? When everything started going to HD, really, you know, a multiplayer focus, Nintendo didn't do that. There's a lot of interesting ideas with it, right? I think obviously talking about it being the party machine is an excellent idea, but then also the fact that, yeah, it resonated with me, the controller, that it's connected to your game, so that if you do have a friend who had this, that if you walked over and put your controller into
that was really cool.
All the games you own, you'd be able to play on their
The
system.
dice was really neat when he was like.
Sure. Yeah, we got to have to. Well, I mean, they were definitely on purpose giving us very many callbacks to the Wii.
Yeah.
When I saw the little girl
vibe.
bowling, I was like, all right, I know what I'm getting.
I also like the price points they set for a lot of their games, very cheap.
Yeah.
I think it was like $10 for downloadable. I think it was like $15 for physical or $20 for physical, which, you know that they're going to be coming in pretty cheap. But a lot of these things always boil down to that input, right? Like, and in this case, the controller is the appeal for this. I quite like it. We live in an age now, especially, you know, with the year that we had, where, let's be real, like having couch co-op, that's unrivaled. Like, we need more couch co-op games. Look, I love
I'm singing
online.
your praises right
I love
now, for
online, but
real.
more couch co-op. I'm all about it in television. Thank you so much for bringing that to light, and I hope it becomes more of a staple with a lot of the big name game companies moving forward as well.
Yeah. I love the idea too of that if you are the top in your country or whatever, at the end of the month they send you a certificate to print.
That's
you can
cool.
Put up. That's pretty
You're like,
cool.
look,
Yeah, it's like very Twin Galaxies type vibe. I like that a lot. Yeah.
But yeah, cornhole. They make a cornhole game, so that's all we.
That's all you need. Cornhole, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, the year was 1995, and the Electronic Entertainment Expo debuted for the first time in front and center in the world of gaming. Lots of things have changed since then. 16-bit graphics have given way to HD renders in virtual reality headsets, but we wouldn't be where we are today without the developments and announcements of those early years. Here's a look back at the first adventure.
It is absolutely no wonder that E3 continued to live on after its very first show. The show was massive. There was a surprise console launch. You could get a Killer Instinct character tattoo while you played Game Boy. You could try out not one, but 3 VR headsets. And this is all in 1995. So let's take a look through a sometimes 4x3 lens at what the first ever E3 was like. May 11th through 13th, 1995, over 55,000 industry, retailer, and press attended the debut Electronics Entertainment Expo at the Los Angeles Convention Center. There was no shortage of games you could just walk up and play, especially at the Atari Jaguar booth. This would be the only year the Jaguar system would have a booth, but it came in big and even showed off a VR peripheral that was still in development. Or you could meet Rayman and try out his new game. This was one of the first times you could get your hands on the game that would eventually become a 45-game series. There's tons to check out at this booth, including Primal Rage, a violent dinosaur fighting game, White Men Can't Jump, a basketball game based on the movie, and my personal favorite, VLM or Virtual Light Machine. Just walking around the floors, you'll come across Mortal Kombat 3 characters putting on a stage fight that spills into the audience. You could grab a photo with Beavis and Butthead or a Klingon, ride Judge Dredd's motorcycle, or even check out the Batmobile from Batman Forever. And of course, there was no shortage of games that you would stumble upon that are worth playing, like the legendary RPG Chrono Trigger, Earthworm Jim 2, Resident Evil, Ridge Racer, and unique games like Street Fighter the movie The Game, and a port of the Aerosmith game, Revolution X. There were also plenty of sports games, an industry that would explode in popularity. Games like NBA Jam Tournament Edition, NFL Quarterback Club 96, and FIFA Soccer 96, which is only the third FIFA game in the now famous series. The press conferences lived up to their name, with studio execs in suits at podiums presenting slideshows. The slides consisted mostly of goals, stats, and advertising strategies, but there were hints of the future in their presentations.
Side-scrolling games, for all the fun and success they brought us, will ultimately give way to newer, more complex genres.
And looks at the industry, then a $5 billion industry that is now an over $150 billion industry. One thing that hasn't changed is that classic E3 excitement when a game is shown. Sega's press conference was all about their new system, the Sega Saturn, and they even showed off a host of new games launching with the console, like Panzer Dragoon, a game that would launch a series and would even get a remake 25 years later in 2020. Sega showed off one of their commercials, one of the kinds that you would expect to only see in the 90s.
It's the sphincter.
And Sega even had the first, and it's available now, with the surprise announcement that the Sega Saturn is now available in stores.
We started our rollout of the Sega Saturn yesterday,
months before their original release date. Then they dropped the price and the new tagline,
Sega Saturn is not only here now, it's out there.
For Sony's presentation, it might surprise you that while Keanu Reeves made a more than memorable appearance at E3 2019, he made his actual first appearance as a key visual in Sony's opening sizzle in 1995. And this very 90s sizzle was pretty important because up until that point, Sony was still widely known as a tech company and hadn't released the PlayStation yet, at least not in the US. We were seeing the birth of a major gaming publisher and system through cheeky slides and clip art. But then came one of the most memorable moments in E3 history. After Sega had earlier announced the Sega Saturn's price of $399, the Sony Computer Entertainment president came up to the stage and simply said,
$299.
People referenced this moment as the price heard round the world. 3DO also had a press conference showing their successful 1994, how the 3DO console compares to the competition systems, and they even combated the age-old debate of PC versus console.
You don't need a dedicated system. A PC can do everything. That's a little bit like telling a family that they only really need one car.
They also showed quite a few next-gen visual demos of what their planned upcoming console, the M2, could potentially do. Nintendo spent almost their entire presentation directly discussing forgery systems and piracy that was plaguing the industry at the time. But what they lacked in any formal announcements, they made up for at their giant dome with big letters spelling out Nintendo. This is where you'll find a stage performance for Killer Instinct, as well as a place where you can get an orchid tattoo. Also, there was an early peek at the Ultra 64, which would officially be named the Nintendo 64 a few months later. Nintendo also had Earthbound, which was the origin of NES, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest, and Nintendo's VR headset, the Virtual Boy. Also on display close by was the X-Band, seemingly the first online gaming attachment for a console. So that's the first E3. A look at what was, what could have been, and what came to be.
Game over.
At the first E3 in 1995, we wound up showing off an early version of the very first Unreal game. A lot of people who know and use the Unreal Engine don't necessarily know that there's a game that actually launched everything behind all of it. And I remember being there with Mark Rain, and he yells out, "Miyamoto's checking out Unreal." Shigeru Miyamoto, my hero, like my idol, who's made so many games that have just fascinated me throughout my entire life, through my childhood. And I remember going over there and shaking and giving him a demo of the game and trying to show him why this game is unique, you know, with weapons that can charge up and players that can dodge and alternate fires and enemy AI that can track you down no matter where you were. And he was very stoic, you know, but I hope that I impressed him. And yeah, I was still shaking for like an hour after that.
First E3, wow. 1995. $299, what a moment. You know what I mean? Killed the Saturn in its tracks. And so that's where I want to start. 1995, mid-90s, we're talking about video game consoles.
Yeah.
Golden Boy, we'll start with you. Were
Yeah.
you a Sega kid or a Nintendo kid?
Oh yeah, I was a Sega kid.
Sega
Sega kid, dude.
kids
Sega
unite,
kid,
son.
baby. Sorry. So here's the thing. My mother bought a Super Nintendo for my brother.
Sure.
But she was like, "Well, I can't have them sharing it because we're just going to argue and
Yep,
fight
you're
the
in a
whole
fight,
time."
yeah.
So then, she ended up telling my father, "Hey, you got to go get him a Sega Genesis." She took the credit for it, by the way. Boss mom, shout out to you, ma. And then I had the Sega Genesis. But the only game I had for like the longest time was Sonic Pinball or Spinball.
Spinball.
So
yeah.
and that was like one of my favorite Sonic games.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. Yeah, I was a Sega Master System kid. I was walking through the store, saw the Ghostbusters game, said I want that, and my mom did no research, and she got me what I wanted.
Yeah.
But then I was a Sega kid, ride or die the rest of the way through the Saturn. I bought a Saturn.
I had a Saturn too. Clockwork Knight, by the way, one of the most underrated platformer games ever. Clockwork Knight, so good.
Jackie, I feel like I don't need to ask.
You want to know what's funny? So actually, the first console we ever got was a Super Nintendo, and it is one of the most vivid memories of my life, actually. I remember my dad came in with the box, and my brother and I were chasing after him. We're like, what is this? What is this? And it was this little TV, like this big, and he was trying to get it all plugged in. My brother and I were sitting in front of this like gray screen, you know?
Yeah.
And then Super Mario World popped up, and my brother and I looked at each other, and we just screamed, you know?
Oh, wow.
And little did they know that they were going to start a full-blown video game obsession after that. But I messed with Sega, okay? I would go to my neighbors, and we would play NBA Jam. We'd be like, he's on fire! Oh my gosh, I loved it. And actually, my brother and I got a Dreamcast as well, but we were mainly a Nintendo family.
Well, yeah, the only reason I said I think I know is because you have an SNES game in front of you.
Actually, I did bring Chrono Trigger. I thought we were going to be talking about our favorite games from the 90s, and obviously, like, this one, it's near and dear to my heart. My brother and I played it repeatedly.
Sure.
And Robo's theme was my ringtone for probably 10 years, and then I got an iPhone, and I was like, wait, you can't make a ringtone for these, or can you? And I just haven't figured that out. But anyway, yeah, this story just always resonated with me so much. I was a weirdo. I played like Secret of Mana and Terra Enigma and
you were
Illusion of Gaia.
normal.
But those were like heavy, dark stories for 7- and 8-year-olds to be taken in. So
We
my
didn't know
brother
at
and
the
I
time.
are like, we went into the Incan ruins and we found this corpse, and it was like, please tell my family that I shouldn't have gone out searching for treasure, and I abandoned them. And my brother and I are like crying, but I do think that these games made me the person that I am today, and made my brother the person that he was. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get emotional, but I think we can all say that games have had a profound effect on our life. And
100%.
these games from the 90s, don't sleep on them, people. Don't sleep on them.
Man, they're
They
so
got
good.
really, really amazing content. So,
Can I see the box?
of course, I know. I'm like,
I don't think I've ever.
Do you want to put on white gloves before you
I
handle it,
feel
though?
like I should. I mean, like, I've never actually held a Chrono Trigger box.
I know. It's
I saw one in Tokyo, in Akihabara. I walked around for a little bit, and I saw one there, and I asked the guy if I can grab it. He looked at me, said I was crazy, and then I left being, in tears. But this is like a piece of history.
Yeah.
This is super cool.
Greg, you can hold it too. I mean, I know this.
I know this is. You're setting me up for like when that guy shows the Woodstock ticket and tears it in half. by accident. I'm not touching that. I'm not ending up on live stream fails.
Oh my god, I love it. But I feel like you can just feel the energy like coming off of the game. You know
And
what
it
I
was
mean?
one of the greatest RPGs
I know,
ever.
seriously.
Till this day, is still one of the greatest RPGs. Like top 5, I think.
Oh, easily in my
Yeah.
top 5.
Yeah.
What's in your top 5, y'all?
Well, I want to say real quick that, and this is a reformed Sega kid speaking, that like video games made me who I am today. Obviously, it's my entire life, my entire career, my entire passion.
Yeah.
But like, I always look so longingly at people who were Nintendo kids. Because you have, like, because I feel like I feel like you guys had a different education, and that's not to say Sega didn't, but like I was a dumb kid. No one else liked video games as much as I did, so I was like just playing licensed stuff all the time, which got me like Castle of Illusion, Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion, which was great. But it was also like the Jurassic Park game and all these other Independence
Streets
Day
of
on
Rage,
Sega Saturn.
baby.
Dude, I love Streets of Rage. Me and Mike
started on
Boylan, I remember that on Genesis sitting there. I remember having the blood in Mortal Kombat, being super stoked. about that.
Battletoads versus Double Dragon, Sega Genesis. That game was freaking impossible, But oh man, and Lion King, by the way. Big shout out to my buddy Sancho West, who just finished Lion King recently on stream.
Sancho West is my buddy.
Oh, okay. Well, he's actually my friend, but
he's like a
this is what happens when I can't sit between them.
Darn it, Sancho, I believed in you.
I won. It's all me. I won. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, what are your favorite 90s games? Let us know with the hashtag E3 2021 so we can get you up on screen. But still to come here on the E3 stage, we've got our indie showcase, Capcom, and so much more. The party's just getting started, so don't go anywhere.
篝火营地是中国领先的游戏媒体，创立于2018年，致力于为全世界的中文游戏玩家提供专业、精准、迅速的资讯情报。篝火营地立足于中国，与多家国际一流游戏媒体同行达成正式内容合作关系，源源不断地将最新鲜的游戏资讯第一时间带给全球中文游戏玩家。自成立以来，篝火营地在全网的内容浏览量已经超过5亿，服务了数百万的读者和玩家。我们的愿景是做游戏文化传播者。您可以在全球各大手机应用市场下载篝火营地 APP， 或者访问3w.gamebonfire.com 来加入游戏传播者的行列。